Hello guys, my name is Dominnic Clovis from 10 Social Tree. Today I want to tell about the invention of telephone. Have you ever heard who invented the first telephone? Yes, it is Alexander Graham Bell. Alexander Graham Bell is generally known as the inventor of the telephone in 1876 in the United States. But according to the US Congress, in June 2002, it was determined that Antonio Meucci invented the telephone. Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone. He never called his wife and mother because they were deaf. In 1856, Italian-born Antonio Meucci invented a device that sends speech through wires. He used the device to communicate with his bedridden wife. Speech traveled from his workshop in the basement to her room on the second floor. A diaphragm suspended over an electromagnet was placed in each room and connected with wires. In 1857, German Johann Philipp Reis invented the Reis telephone. The technology was limited. The other person couldn't really communicate back only via telegram. It was, again, primarily designed to transmit music, not speech. Reis called it the singing station. The telephone was also capable of transmitting speech. The praise is thus preferred phrase keinen Gurken salad, or the horse doesn't eat cucumber salad, was clearly understandable when spoken. He used his praise because it is allegedly hard to understand in German. In 1860, Johann Philipp Reis of Germany demonstrated a make and break transmitter after the design of Borsal and knitting needle receiver. Witnesses said they heard human voice being transmitted. On 28 December 1871, Antonio Meucci files a patent caveat number 3053, a notice of intent to invent but not a formal patent application at the US Patent Office for a device he named sound telegraph. In 1874, telegraph message traffic was rapidly expanding, and in the words of Western Union President William Orton, had become the nervous system of commerce. Florentinian immigrant Antonio Meucci sent a telephone model and technical details to the Western Union Telegraph Company, but failed to win a meeting with executives. On June 2, 1875, Bell and Watson were preparing an experiment with the multiple telegraphic device by tuning reeds on 3 sets of transmitters and receivers in the different rooms. One of Watson's reeds, Watson tried to free a reed that had been too tightly wound around the pole of its electromagnet. With the transmitters off, Watson plucked the reed to free it, and Bell heard a twang in his receiver. The plucked reed had induced an undulating current using residual magnetism and activated the electromagnets in Bell receiver. They had inadvertently reproduced sound and proved that tones could vary the strength of an electromagnet in a wire. The next step was to build a working transmitter with a membrane that could vary electronic currents and a receiver that could reproduce the variation in audible frequencies. Within days, Watson had built a primitive telephone. On September 1875, Bell began to write the specification for his first telephone patent. By March 1876, he managed to make a transmission, but the sound was very faint. On 10 March 1876, Bell transmitted the sentence, "Mr. Watson, come here, I want to see you," with using a liquid transmitter and an electromagnetic receiver. And then the Alexander Graham Bell conducted a successful experiment with the telephone. This breakthrough, during which he uttered his famous directive to his assistant Thomas Watson, is recorded in the March 10 entry in his 1875 until 1876. By the way, Alexander Graham Bell's assistant is Thomas Augustus Watson, notably in the invention of the telephone in 1876. So, that's all about the invention of telephone. Thank you.